Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Lens with your hosts, Jake and Scott. We have made our way to James B. Beam Distilling Company to be joined by Alex again. So sit back and buckle into the latest episode of the Bourbon Lens. Alex, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. Great to have you guys back here. I wish it was a slightly warmer day, but still beautiful.
It is festive. As you say, Father Christmas is right around the corner here.
That's right. 20 odd days to go.
Yeah.
Have you figured out what the big Christmas gift is yet for the family?
I have. It is actually getting delivered the day before. I was nervous to say it. I'm like, my daughter's not going to listen to this. My daughter's not listening to Bourbon Podcast yet. Yeah, a trampoline this year.
Ooh, nice.
Is what Father Christmas will be delivering to our house.
I have talked my wife off the trampoline multiple times because my mom bought one last year. And I'm like, just send the kids to the grandparents.
Yeah. Don't do it at my house.
I finally lost.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got a wife, as one of my friends said,
Yeah.
you know, and they finally win. My wife will win that argument. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I put it off for the last few years, and then this year was like full on commitment.
You should just tell her it's a health hazard being in your backyard.
It's an insurance claim waiting to happen. That's what it is in my risk adjustment background. But excited to be here. You all have had a banner year here at James B. Beam Distilling. There's been a lot of cool stuff. We're going to be hitting on Hardin Creek for the most part, but what's it like? You've had the bowling pin, the 21-year Knob Creek. You've had Baker's 13 re-release, you know, coming off the heels of all the stuff from last year, too, that are still available in the gift shop. So if you're on the Bourbon Trail, make sure you stop here because you can get a bottle.
Find some
which
goodies.
is nice.
Yeah.
You know, so what's it like to have all the new stuff happening here at the
It's been I agree with you. It's been a very exciting year. You know, when I think back, and I can't believe how fast the year's gone. First of all, and, you know, I know you guys have joined us for a few of our events this year. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, but we've had, like you said, the bowling pin, Knob Creek 21, Booker's Reserves, the second edition, Little Book Infinite, the second edition. Just some really amazing liquids dropped this year that I personally have been very excited for. Knob Creek 21, I think, is just, you know, the oldest liquid we've ever put out, which is incredible when you think that how long we've been doing this. And then this year we put out our oldest ever liquid, the bowling pin, which was has been a passion project and a really fun looking product. Liquid, I love the liquid, but just, yeah, really, really interesting packaging on that one. And then Hardin's Creek, which I love because I love to see how you can play with variables. You know, like you're taking the same liquid but you're gonna do a couple. You know, this time it's going to be where we've warehoused it, how we've warehoused it, and then seeing that influence, right? Seeing how aging 11 years over that period of time, how putting it in a 1-story, a 5-story, a 9-story warehouse, how does that impact and change? And so for me, getting to taste them, and, you know, we'll get to do it today, but getting to taste them side by side and seeing how that interaction over that length of time changes the base liquid is I always enjoy that. It's just to geek out on it, but like that's always, you know, the fun thing for me.
That's the point of the Bourbon Podcast is, you know, to geek out on these certain things. And we know you have your notes, and so we will make sure that all your notes get hit on. We were lucky enough. We had a friend at Kentucky Bourbon Festival. They were VIP. They got in line super early, and they were one of the first, like, I think 20 people to buy a bottle. That night we went back and cracked it, and it's an exceptional pour, and a lot of value. $250 for a 21-year-old liquid is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it just carries on the ethos. You know, we say it all the time here. We want to make or craft the best possible liquid, but make it the most accessible we can, and make it, you know, at 21 years for $250. You know, you think about everything it's gone through in that length of time. What, you know, being put away and stored and looked after for 21 years in a warehouse, and then you finally get to crack it and taste it. That was one of the special pours, I would say, for this year when we finally got to taste it for the first time.
An experience in a bottle, yeah.
Yeah. It definitely is like one of those memories that we have talked about with our house for the last several months since Kentucky Bourbon Festival, which you all, I think, still have one of the best vantage points at all the festival. Like a lot of people have talked about it, the way you all separate bottle cells into, you know, actually going through and tasting. It's two different unique experiences. And I think you all do it really well. So, you know, if you're ever looking to buy a bottle at Kentucky Bourbon Festival, go to Beam. They've got it figured out a little bit.
Just start there.
Start there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. No, it's a big thing because I think, we want to obviously sell some bottles to the people that are looking to do that, but also we've got to recognize that we really want to interact with people, let them try the liquid, let them taste different things that hopefully, maybe we're introducing them to something for the first time. Maybe there's some fan favorites there that they want to come back to and revisit, but it's difficult, right? I mean, the festival, the great thing for the festival is it gets busier and busier every single year.
Yeah.
We managed to move ourselves this year and get a slightly different location, which worked out, I think, really well for us and allowed us to set ourselves up a little bit differently and separate those lines a little more efficiently this year. So we love being there. It's a great fun. It's great to see that level of excitement. Honestly, like you see the level of excitement, the people that come to that festival, how excited they are for bourbon and the passion that still continues every year. I think, we see some familiar faces that come back to us every year to sample with us and try liquid, and also some new people that are being introduced maybe to us and don't necessarily always know the full breadth of what James V. Beam has to offer.
It's a lot more than white label.
Yeah. Maybe white label is the way in sometimes for them, and what we love for them to do, those, like we're going to do with Hardin's Creek today, is come through with the journey with us as well, because there's so much to discover and so many different things that we do and that we produce and that we pour our hearts into. So, we really want to open up and say, let people try that.
For sure. And that's one of the questions. We didn't hit on this last time. We focused on bakers a lot, but white label's the international product, right? That is in hundreds of countries. And so how do you go to educate the consumer and get, when they come here to a brand home, to walk them through, you might be used to this 80 proof, whiskey, but this is what we really have to offer from a swath of things. How do you all curate that experience from a global perspective? Because not many brands have that vantage point that you all do.
No, we're really fortunate. I think, I would say Jim Beam white label kind of plows the road, right? Like it's our way in. It's globally recognized. It's the number one selling bourbon in the world. It gives us or affords us an opportunity to speak to a lot of different people through that product. But then what we really want to do, I say, is as people progress and they want to experiment within bourbon, is to, we do have bakers, we do have, bookers if you want that uncut, unfiltered, you go from an 80 proof 4-year-old to a, 125 proof, never touch water, very different experience from a bourbon perspective, Knob Creek 21. So it's really allows us, I think what I love is, and it's sometimes the blessing and the curse, if you ask the team that works here, because we do have so many toys to play with sometimes, it's how do you, excuse the pun, distill that down so that you have a coherent story and one that allows us to inform our guests of, hey, here's everything that we do have. We can't necessarily taste you on every single product we've got because that'd just be too much for one day.
You wouldn't make it out of here.
It'd be a big day.
Yeah.
But can we explain though and help them understand, like, hey, we do have Basil Hayden, different occasions, different moments. We have a bourbon for every single, in my opinion, moment or occasion that's out there that you might want to try bourbon for. But the continuity for me is, and I said it a little bit earlier, it's trying to craft the best possible liquid at the most accessible price points as well. We want our liquid to be drunk. We want people to enjoy it. We're not looking to put something out and price people out of it. It's why we try and have product here on the shelves when people come, because if people make a pilgrimage to the distillery, we want them to be able to find something special. We want them to be able to find the product that they're looking for. So we want to make it as absolutely as accessible as possible for folks.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when you ask me what do we stand for, often that's what I would say.
Yeah.
And it really helps, like, as a consumer, develop this, like, the super fan, like a super fan of a distillery. Like, you can really dive into a bunch of different avenues and see what a distillery can do.
Yeah. And if you just want to stay in the J.M. Beams family, go get Winter Reserve. That's like one of my favorite pours. For the price, 6 years, double barreled. Come on now.
And I'm a Jim Beam Black.
Yeah.
To me is
classic.
that's my go-to bourbon. 7 years old, 90 proof.
Yeah.
Very versatile. I'm comfortable putting that with Coke. I'm comfortable putting it in a Manhattan old fashioned or drinking it neat, right? I think it can do, and I can take it to a party and feel pretty comfortable, handing that over and saying, hey, we can have it any way you want today. Yeah. Or as the great man would have said, any damn way you please.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So yeah, I think that's, the Jim Beam White affords us a certain luxury because it gives us the freedom to go off and experiment because it does allow us to be a certain size, right? We are a big distillery, and the success of Jim Beam White gives us the freedom and the room to go play and the room for Freddie to go experiment at the FBN distillery and craft some of these liquids in a way that, maybe if we were a little bit smaller, we wouldn't be able to put that resource into that level of experimentation.
I think that's pretty true. And so now we have got in front of us the new, I would say, experimental series where we're looking at terroir in a certain way, right? We had the first one where we had Frankfurt, Clermont, and Boston. And now we have 3 different rickhouse variations. So can you walk us through what 3 different bottles we have? And then I think if you kind of walk us through and then end on the owl, that's what we have in our glass right now. And then we can talk about what's in our glass.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the mushroom, the beaver, and the owl. So that effectively, like you said, last year we were doing same liquid, different terroir, different locations, Boston, Frankfurt, and here at Clermont. This year, what we've done is to try and look at the different rickhouses that we've got. So we're very fortunate in that we've got some very unique and different rickhouses that impact the liquid differently. So with the mushroom, we've got a single-story warehouse R, single-story, no windows, so dark,
Dungeness.
That's a great way of saying it. I was trying to say something a little more romantic and nice, but that's the perfect way. Underside
we
of a
built our
log.
way up to the top of the castle, right? Yeah.
But very, very unique when you think about like warehousing today. There's no windows in there. It's small. It's dark. There's no sunlight hitting those barrels, so it's a very different aging experience. Then we've got the beaver, which is in a 5-story warehouse. And then finally, we've got the owl, which is in a 9-story warehouse. So I believe, and I'm always careful to say this because when people start saying we're the only, whatever, but I believe we're one of the last to still be using 9-story warehouses. Most people now are going only up to 7 stories. So a very, very unique style of warehouse. And that just really changes. When you think about it, changes airflow, it changes the way the barrel reacts with the environment around it, and it just gives you, as we taste through, hopefully we'll see, or you guys will see, how that impacts and how it changes the way the liquid matures and interacts with the barrel and changes the final taste profile.
And are all these warehouses in this location?
Yeah, they're all here at Clermont.
Okay. And do you know, this might not be on your sheet, but do you know which one the oldest one is and which one the youngest one is?
I believe, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, as I always do, right?
You can't know everything.
But I'm going to say G is our 9-story warehouse, because we're
very close to
very close. I realize we're on a podcast and I'm going to point behind me. But if you remember last time you guys were here, we just tore down 2 that they were actually the ones that the first 2 that Jim Beam himself actually put up here on site.
Okay.
So we've just started to take down those 9-story warehouses. They're really interesting. They're really good, but they were built a long, long time ago. So we have started to decommission them. But yeah,
OSHA's happy.
Yeah. And listen, I'm happy. I haven't gone inside it and listened to the creak and the moaning of the warehouse a little bit. I was like,
True.
wow.
It's not a haunted warehouse.
When everyone says it's haunted, I was like, I think it's just the building making some noises.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, because it's really interesting, like hearing about one story, like you don't hear about that often either. I guess there's one other brand that I can think of that does one story, and they're not too terribly far.
I was going to say a little bit down the road from us here.
Right.
So let's talk about the owl here, because that's what's in our glass. So these are all 11-year age, David. Are they different proofs?
No, they should all be the same proof. So what we're trying to do again is limit the variable.
Got it.
So you've got consistency across. The difference is going to be where and how they're warehoused. So that so by controlling those other variables, you're getting a much more exact look. Okay, with isolating, and that's what we did last time as well. We isolate the variable, which was terroir, which was the different locations. Yep. I don't know what Freddie's got in mind for future ones, but this Hardin's Creek allows him to really play around and experiment with those variables.
I mean, right off the bat, the thing I like about this is it's not the traditional Jim Beam profile. Like, I don't get like that traditional peanut nuttiness. That I get. Which is fun. So like when I think of a distillery, I think about what are those traditional notes that I'm used to, and this not having that traditional note sees that like, hey, these are aged differently, so a blend in a certain rickhouse at a certain level like will create a different flavor profile than what the house profile typically is. So I think right off the bat, that's the coolest thing that you can recognize.
I'm getting a lot of like the sweet oak note, the sweet oak and like cinnamon brown sugars.
And I'm a big proponent of like 7 to like 13, like in bourbon. Like that's a really good age because you start to get all of the wood sugar interactions, and you don't over oak it at any of those periods of time. And I hesitate to say at 11 because I've been like way too spot on. But like I think you can get up to 13, and then 15 you have to be prepared for tannin, right? Like this, like the tannins don't like overwhelm you at this age.
Yeah, that's like tannin and proofing too.
Correct.
When you get up in age, it's like it benefits from a little bit of proofing down.
Yeah. There's a nice brown sugar note on this as well that I like from a nose perspective. It's almost creme brulee.
That's a great description, actually.
Burnt sugars and
it's an enjoyable sip. I mean, this actually screams like kind of holidays. We were talking about baking cookies earlier, and your congratulations on Cookie Champion here at James B. Beam.
We're in the presence of a legend.
We're in the presence of a legend.
It was the blend of flour, I think.
Yeah.
It really took it to that next level.
Exactly. It's very holiday-ish from a baking spice and kind of cookie type doughiness flavor profile.
And I love that as well because, going back to your earlier question about portfolios and breadth of whiskey, it's to me, having favorites is really difficult, right? Because it depends on, today we've got snow on the ground, it's cold. What I want from my whiskey is going to be very different to what I want when it's 100 degrees outside. And, I've got maybe shorts on instead of wrapped up, trying to stay warm in the beautiful
Jim Beam
Kentucky.
Pineapple, maybe.
Yeah, a little cocktail.
Little pineapple highball.
Exactly. See, look, we know our Beam portfolio here. Well, we're going to have to go really deep in the Rolodex for me to figure out if I don't know them all. But we did make controversy earlier this year, just to kind of take a break from the conversation, because we said that a liquid that people need to pay attention to that could stand up in a blind with a variety of different proofs is Basil Hayden 10. Because everyone's been on the high proof movement. We actually said, you know what? 10-year 80 proof actually can stand up if it's a curated flight in the right way, because it's going to give you the tannins and the vanilla. So, I think you all put good liquid out no matter what proof that is. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I also think, just touch on basil, I always think it makes a perfect whiskey sour.
Yeah.
Just that lower proof, the way, particularly if you like egg white, I would say in your whiskey sour. If you like egg white in your whiskey sour, that lighter ABV, just I think for the viscosity and the way it interacts with the egg is just a little bit different. And to me, it makes the perfect.
And you could make a lot of people happy if the Caribbean rum one never came back.
Yeah.
Literally, there's so many of my friends are like, they're going to do it again. I'm like, I think that's dead, man.
I'm not going to say I'm not one of those people that has asked for that. And Freddie has told me I think definitively that I think that may not be coming back. Yeah. I have one bottle left. So I'm like, when do I open it? It's like, because when it's never coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that one bottle and you're like, I really want to drink it, but I got to hold off on it for now.
Well, because it'll disappear quickly. Because
it's one of the.
It's crushable.
Yeah, I was trying to say it was really smooth and easy drinking, but it's
a session whiskey.
It's one of those ones like if you open it with friends, I think it's one that you enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. I did like the sherry finish one too. That one was good too.
Several years back.
The wine, it came in a nice box. I keep the box and I put all my cards that I get from bourbon places in the box.
I think that's one of the, yes, Basil Hayden 80 proof. I know there's some people out there that think that's not a high enough proof for serious bourbon drinkers. But what I love about Basil is the ability to be experimental with it and the finishes that it can do and the directions that it can take bourbon and the fact we can, all right, we're not going to do it again, but the Caribbean rum, I like the toasted. It's my dad's favorite.
Yeah.
But the toasted Basil Hayden, just the plethora of different, from one base liquid, how you can change that up and how different you can make it and how the different occasions that then, red wine cask, if I'm thinking about a New York sour, I'm thinking, okay, that kind of lends itself well to that. So it's very versatile, very flexible, and that range, you can do so many different things with it.
Well, and like even the subtle smoke, like it appeals to the Scotch drinker, right? So if you take that profile into England or Scotland, they might, if you're an Isle of Scotch drinker, you might be interested in the subtle smoke. And then you've done the other variations, the malted one.
Malted rye. Yeah. We've got the dark rye. We got, oh my gosh,
So
they have a lot of, they have a lot of fun on that.
They do.
Brand.
So it's cool. I don't think people realize. I think because we're in the influencer, see bourbon whiskey people all the time space. There's so much people that drink. There's millions of people that drink whiskey that are just doing it for they like the flavor profile between 80 and 90 proof. That's the majority of the world.
Yeah,
that's why white label kills.
Yeah.
And I think as well as people's habits change on the way they drink and, we get into zebra striping and all the different ways that everyone, I was back home recently and I'd never seen this before, but it was with, I think I can say Guinness, right? Yeah. People doing a 60-40 on basically
with a zero
and the regular. What? Yeah. Like mixing the two together to lower the ABV. Because, and that's the thing about basil, right? You still get this, all the beautiful flavors, all the, like you said, the wood comes through, you get all the caramels, the vanillas are coming through, and it's just a lower ABV. And, there's a lot of people out there that's what they're looking for.
I always call it the wedding whiskey because you can drink it, throughout the day and not show up to the wedding falling down.
There you go.
I probably get in trouble for saying this, but I always call it my work whiskey. It's the one that when I'm on a work event that I think, okay, I can have this and still be able to come back to work tomorrow.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So speaking of nothing wrong with that, it's time for the pour of the beaver.
Oh, yes.
All right. Let me not screw this up on.
There we go. That makes cinematic experience like I've ever heard one.
You can pass or pour.
All
right.
You're heavy-handed.
These dimpled glasses, they're kind of like wine bottles. They make them look like...
See, and we got the shut on the back end. It's interesting, right off the nose. This is completely different. So this is a 5-story rickhouse, correct?
5-story, warehouse W, 5-story. So you can see, hopefully, again, just like you said on the nose, how much the different profile that it gives you, and all we're talking about there is say 5-story versus 9-story.
Yeah.
Same proof, same age. We're just changing the type of warehouse that it's stored in.
A little bit more like traditional beam.
A little more traditional beam, but I would say it's brighter, right? Like it's brighter brown sugar, vanilla, like even a little bit of like apple crumble, right? Like that's kind of what I'm getting.
Fruits,
dark stewed fruits, or apple stewed fruits.
Well, and when you think about like, the warehouses and as we go down to the single story, but just think about that the difference in heat as well. When you're in those smaller warehouses with less floors, the heat difference, the variation between the lower to the upper and versus a 9-story when you're thinking about the lower floor to the upper floor and how that impacts and changes that fluctuation. I would say like at the top of the warehouse, you're seeing much more drastic.
Yeah.
It's not just you're hitting higher temperatures, but you're seeing more drastic fluctuation and changes in the way that affects and interacts, how the breathing of the whiskey into the barrel and kind of what it pulls out. The ABV, is obviously the alcohol typically tends to go up a little bit.
And how was it designed? Where's the sun hitting the rickhouse, right? Are windows open? Are they closed? Right?
Yeah.
There's all the variables that I think make a huge difference in each rickhouse. Like you can have a rickhouse right next to each other and get completely different whiskey out of them.
Well, I would say you can be on, you can be on the same row, on the same floor. in a rick house, but are you closer to the wall or are you closer to the walkway in the middle, right? And that's going to again affect how that temperature fluctuation hits you, how it interacts. Is the sun directly hitting the barrel, or is it in the shade on the inside wall? And just, it's amazing to me. You can have barrels that close to each other, and when you taste them, and that's why I think I love, it's so interesting when you do a single barrel and people go, oh, is this from the same warehouse? Like, yeah, but let's taste it and let's see just how drastically different it can be. Even if it's from the same warehouse, you're not going to get the same profile necessarily.
Well, and also it's like a 9-story rick house. Like you have at least 9 different flavors that you can, generate. A single floor, you've got kind of more hopefully homogeneous. But yeah, it's like you start out on the ground floor and it's cool in the summer when it's 110 degrees outside, but you hit the second floor and you're like, okay, it's starting to get warmer. Third floor, and then
that's what I was loving. Going in a warehouse and going up in the warehouse, I think to me, I always feel it when I come back down. If I've spent time at the top of the warehouse and the relief, every floor, I feel like that's a little better, that's a little better, that's a little better, and you start to feel that temperature change more for me on the way out, and you can really feel like, okay, I'm dropping here. And just think about what the barrel's feeling in that set, what it's going through and the whiskey's going through.
Well, and you think about it, it's like we think of floors, but there's also multiple ricks within a floor, right? Like, so are you closer to the bottom? Are you closer to the top, right? Like, I think people think, oh, floors. Well, floors are still 6 feet, 8 feet in between.
You have 3,
so like you still have the ability to stack. Like, did you getting really nerdy, like what was the pressure like that day? Like, the higher you are, the more pressure you get. Like
the humidity always, I think, plays a huge factor as well.
Yeah. This one does lend itself more on the palate to a Beam profile, which is, it's just so wild, like getting the different experience from pour to pour out of 2. And I think of a Beaver, I think of a Dam, so it's going to be more compact flavors. He's like making sure that the water's not flowing through. This one's going to be like more full throttled from the flavor perspective. So
what is the story on the label? Was it just an artistic expression that was representative of?
No, it's a dive into Freddie's mind, I think. It's the best way I can describe it. There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs within the labels and a lot of information. The more I think you get into these labels, the more it will tell you. The more there's like power bars on here. There's all kinds of little and more will be explained. The more that get released, I think the more that you'll actually start to understand. Like, okay, here's what each thing is actually explaining. It's really a little world. Like
inside of
inside Freddie's mind, there's this map of like, okay, here's where they all live. Here's how they live. And I know. Some things he keeps a little closer to his chest, but I know he's got a lot of ideas. Obviously, you don't just think one day, hey, this is what my next release is going to be. This is 11-year-old whiskey, right? So like, you've got to be thinking about these things ahead of time. So he's got things mapped out of where this journey is going to take us for Hardin's Creek and how we're going to enter this world and what it's going to explain to us about liquid. So I think it's going to be a very exciting journey each release. Each year as we bring more and more of these out. Yeah. Well, you said it earlier off the podcast, but we're going to have Hardin's Creek trading cards for too long. I think that's, when you look at the label, that's. I'm just saying. Yeah. That trumps your mushroom. we're gonna battle it out with some whiskey. So, Freddie, if you're hearing this, come on, man. I got plenty of ideas and plenty of whiskey we can drink and come up with things. Might think of crazier things as we drink more whiskey, but true that. It's always funny every time I see him. Like his daughter plays soccer not far from my house. I'm like, come over and have a drink, man. Like I know you don't want to sit there in your crab walking Hummer and just have quiet time. You can come have whiskey. You're still sipping. Do we want to? Yeah, I want to know about the mushroom, which apparently is your favorite. Correct? Yep. This, I think, just from I don't want to say too much before you try it because I always think if I say too much, then I'm going to influence. But somebody with his palate and his wife's palate, he's on to something. He's got to know a little something. He's got to know more than me. different tastes for different folks, right?
True. You say Father Christmas, I say Santa Claus.
Which I only just learned today that was the difference. So all these years I've been living here saying that, people have probably been like, "What is
this weird guy?"
Yeah. I mean, I get that every day. Like, what is he up to? What is he saying? But yeah, no, this one just again, you smell and taste first, but I'll say more afterwards. But I think I can say unique. I think different.
It is 110 proof. We did not say that, but just for the people in the back. Okay, this is an interesting question. This is just me being ultra nerdy. 700 milliliters. Why?
That's a really great question. No one's ever asked me before why we do 700 milliliters. I think originally, global travel retail so we're selling it here. We're selling it in global travel retail, and typically for what we call GTR, we would put 700 mils.
Yeah.
It's a single bottling.
Yeah.
You're not having to do.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, since the regulations changed here in the U.S., I think you're going to see more people go to 700 mils because that's more the international.
I would say, like, where I'm from, that's the traditional bottle size. And honestly, sometimes makes life a little bit easier.
So what we should do is go to 700s, and then I get, in America, I get a little 50 ml extra so I can sample. And then if I think it's
the little sampler for the limited editions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have seen a few people do that where you put the sample bottle, the 50 ml with it.
Yeah.
The only thing I love
expensive ones.
The only thing I love about, for me, this is just someone who does spreadsheets all day. 750 mils is much easier to divide into a 9-liter case than 700 mils.
Yeah, but
so when I'm thinking about, it's 12 bottles. I can just easily do, it's 12 bottles per 9-liter case.
But it's still 25.3 ounces. Like,
yeah. So this one has a lot more fruit to it. So the odd note that I get is peach.
Okay.
Like a stone fruity peach note.
And I think that's the beauty of being in those when you think about being in a smaller, lower floored rickhouse, or even being on the lower floors, and typically how that would interact and the oxidation that's going to be happening. You're not going to necessarily get as much pull from the barrel, but that oxidation that you're going to get and developing, which I typically find is where you develop, like you said, stone fruit.
Yeah.
Much more of those characteristics.
I also will say this drinks the thinnest of the bunch, which is also interesting from a mouthfeel perspective. Also, as an aside, as I'm looking at this bottle, if you're worried about your caloric intake, it's 134 calories per drink. And they have the calories on here in the back. Just a small, minute detail that if you are watching what you put in your body.
It's like how many calories are in a banana? A little bit more, but it's okay.
Just have a glass
shot of whiskey.
One of the best things you can do after a long run and or hard exercise is to actually have a little bit of alcohol, like a beer. That's why they give beers out after a half marathon. They also started to give whiskey.
I just don't know if that's a good idea.
As someone who has run half marathons in my life, that beer hits so well. And then you go get a big thing of French toast afterwards, and you're great. Just you're a happy camper, and then you sleep for 6 hours.
Reset your calories.
Yes. Yes. But I do like that. I would, and it's ounce and a half pour. Just so it's not just 1 ounce.
Oh, you said I poured heavy. I don't know if that's an ounce and a half or an ounce, but maybe three.
You're good.
Maybe 3 or 4.
So now the question for me is, you've tried all three now. Is there a favorite?
There's a distinct difference between all of them.
I think this one. You said it's thinner, but I feel it has like a butteriness to it.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, like, the other one's kind of like coated, longer finish. I feel like this one kind of like is more like water. Like it's like there and kind of gone. Where the other ones, I think, have a little bit richer flavor. I think that has to do with the floors.
And you think about that tannin extract as well.
Correct.
And you think, to me, I always associate tannins with finish and length of finish and the way it
stays with you.
the way it impacts the way you taste and the way you salivate, basically, the way it interacts with the proteins in your mouth and creates that finish. So
I do have a favorite of the bunch. What I would say, if you're a traditional Jim Beam profile person, right, I'll say that first, is you want to go after the beaver. I feel like if you want the Beam profile, I think the beaver will get you the closest to that. I really thought I was going to go to the Al, but the mushroom, I think from a flavor profile perspective, I do love the stone fruit. I also love that it drinks a little bit off profile too. It's not very nutty. It's more fruit forward, which I don't experience a lot in Beam. And so I enjoy this one. Not to like butter up Alex over here, Mr. Cookie expert.
So I have to admit, I've had the mushroom previously, very recently, and I really enjoyed it, and I think that's why I'm leaning towards it, because it's like
Fresh and
it's the most unique of the three.
Yeah. And I think when you think about the style of warehouse as well, it's probably the most unique.
Yeah. But it's got like this buttery fruitness to it. I don't know how to describe that, because like usually I don't really think maybe like pie crust, like a pie or something like that.
That's exactly
like
I'm thinking like peach cobbler. Like that's kind of like, but like the peaches have been stewed prior to putting in the peach cobbler, because if you have fresh peach cobbler, it's like overly peachy, or even apricots maybe. I've been trying to eat a lot of different fruit recently to figure out like what actually fruit tastes like. Peaches are way out of season, by the way.
I thought you were going to say I've been eating a lot of fruit pies. I thought that's where you come from.
Trying to be on Father Christmas. Father Christmas.
I'm trying to grow my white beard and make sure that my kids are happy. No. Thankfully not. I've not gained the Christmas 15 yet.
It's still early in the month.
It is, but normally I do my damage on Thanksgiving.
I was going to say, that's the pie.
Thanksgiving's more of a pie, because like you're going to get the weird aunt or uncle who gives you a fruitcake, and you're like, why'd you bring that?
Well, they say fall is essentially a candy holiday, a pie holiday, and then an everything holiday, and then they call it flu season. But I mean, it's true. It's like, why is everybody sick all fall and winter? It's because we ate like shit for 3 months.
Hey, I'm just waiting for protein whiskey. You know, we got protein, everything else.
And then you start dry January, so you hopefully reset your whole body.
Yeah, we just need protein whiskey.
I said, what you got to do with your fruitcake, and this is what we do. My mum makes hers, so we call it a Christmas pudding. Where I'm from, I don't know if that's a thing necessarily here.
A little figgy pudding?
Well, it's dried fruits.
Okay.
And then what you do is every week you pour just a little bit of alcohol on it, preserving it, right?
Yeah.
Every week you open the lid.
That's the excuse,
You pour a little bit more. She used to do it with cognac, I'll be honest. Now she does it with bourbon. I love that. Woman. And then when you get to Christmas, you light it and you see how high the blue flame. That tells you how good my mum's made her Christmas pudding that year.
Some Christmases you have to go outside to light it. Yeah.
She's like, well, time to light the pudding.
Yeah.
But that's, a big tradition where I'm from is, Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Well, it's so interesting, like the different foods and vernaculars, right? Like I've actually been watching, there's a chef, and like the big thing that's come up is like the big English breakfast. I still don't know if I can eat baked beans for breakfast. Still not.
They are a little bit, I have to explain this every time. They are a little bit different.
I get that.
They're not the barbecue-y brown sugar. They are like more tomato sauce based.
Okay.
But I get that. Everyone's like.
The beans for breakfast kind of throws me off.
I can do like white beans for breakfast, but beans and cornbread.
Oh.
Okay.
But black pudding, white pudding, sausage,
so
bacon,
I've had,
fried bread, mushrooms, tomatoes,
I've done
baked
it.
beans.
I've done it. The thing that throws me off of there is like I want it cooked a little bit longer.
On the bacon.
Yeah. Just get me over the fact where I feel like it's winking at me. Then we're good.
Oh God.
My wife is obviously, my wife. She's American, so that's the biggest same complaint I get from her.
She's like, can we make one change?
Yeah, can you just cook that bacon? And I gotta be honest, when you go to an English calf, you don't start specifying how you want that cooked.
No, it comes. It's just there, and you eat it.
You order and you say thank you, and then
don't insult the chef.
Yeah,
and then you get your croissant. A lot of bread.
Yeah,
which I'm all about. I'm all about the bread. But man, I think this is more interesting even than the site location ones, because it's so close together, and yet there's 3 unique pours and 3 different bottles.
Yeah, I felt like the Frankfurt, Boston, and Clermont, I was just looking for the differences, but it's very apparent.
Yeah,
correct.
I'd say these are very, I would say exaggerated, but like there's definitely a clear difference, right? There's definitely a clear definition between each one. And when you think like that, they're not necessarily that far apart.
Correct.
But the makeup and the structure of the building and how that changes.
How far apart are these warehouses from like start to finish? Is it like less than a mile, 2 miles?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it is. I don't know the exact
More than a
distance between-
stone's throw.
I'm just saying, like, is it on the campus that we're sitting on right now, or is like some of these just like slightly off campus?
Some are going to be they're all within this campus here.
Okay,
yeah, the one we're on right now. So
Which I think that's really cool. That also speaks to the 225 years of Beam, right?
yeah.
Like being here and doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what a lot of brands just don't have, right? Like, you're almost as old as America.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Like-
we're not far, right?
Like, that's the crazy thing. Like 250 this year coming up.
Yeah, we got 230. So
Yeah,
Big one.
that's crazy. The other thing, just to hit on real quick, Scott's a huge F1 fan.
Oh.
oh yeah,
How excited are you about this new partnership coming up in the next season?
very because like Scott, I am also a huge F1 fan.
All right.
I wish the British. Well, I say wish the British. Lando. I always forget Lando Norris. He's doing pretty good right now. I guess
He's doing
As
okay.
a British driver, he's leading. He may well.
Okay,
he may
he
well
may
win.
win.
He may well win it. But no, I'm very excited. I think to be a part of America, what is being called America's team, right? Cadillac,
Yeah.
Jim Beam. I think when you understand the story of us and how Jim Beam used to drive his yeast home every night from this distillery in his Cadillac, and just that the synergy between the two brands. I'm very excited, and selfishly, as I say, someone who loves F1, very excited to see Jim Beam on a car next year, and with some drivers that I personally think are very entertaining. If anyone's ever watched the Netflix documentary,
you're exactly
they might-
right. Yeah, they are. They are
Drive
the
to Survive.
personalities.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to be the boring
Yeah.
drivers on the grid. So yeah,
What's going to be the American whiskey versus the number one bourbon, Cadillac versus McLaren. It's going to be really cool.
and I think this is right. Silverstone next year, I believe, will be on 4th of July, so that will be an interesting weekend for me.
That'll be very
It's
cool.
right. It's actually not too far from where I'm from originally
really?
in England. So yeah,
And that's the 250th.
Anniversary.
yeah, to America.
It's gonna be
You've got Jim
a
Beam
party.
Cadillac, 4th of July.
Hey, that'll be a heck of a deal. That's pretty awesome. Well, Alex, thanks for spending time with us. Thanks for inviting us to the James B. Beam Distilling podcast studio.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you having us on.
Thanks for braving the weather today and coming out and seeing us. We always appreciate it. And we look forward. Hopefully, we'll host you in 2026 at some of our events that we're going to be doing. And I think we got a lot slated for the calendar next year that will be a little bit different, a little bit exciting.
A little bit faster moving with that fun.
Don't miss Beam Day. Like that is the one thing. If you are looking for a ticket to come here to do something, don't miss Beam Day.
Great
awesome.
event. Yeah.
No, we love that. This will be our third year. Next year will be our third year doing it. And I think, I love it because I'm selfish. I love getting to taste some of those vintage pours that we pull out every year for that, and just Fred and Freddie, and just the interaction, I'd say, with the team and the blending team and the people that craft Hardin's Creek and all the other liquids. But and typically, this year we brought out Pin Bottle. Maybe we'll have a surprise bottle release for next year.
Tease
a little bit there.
Tease. And you get one of their own country hams, which I got cut off from.
Yeah, they did pull you away from that.
But I kept eating it anyway.
He was having other people bring him samples.
Like country ham is amazing. Like
That could be a dangerous hobby for you. You'd just eat the whole damn thing.
I don't want.
You'd eat
to
like
get
10
into
pounds
curing
of
ham.
10 pounds of country ham.
I go to one place in Louisville to buy my country ham. It's Frank's on Papa.
Let's talk about caloric intake there.
It's fine. Once a month.
Why are your legs so
month.
swollen?
Not a ham a month though.
No. Country ham sandwich.
Just going to get a
I was like,
sandwich.
whole ham a month? My gosh.
Oh boy, I'm on my way to.
We're going to need to talk
real high blood
about
pressure.
your salt intake.
We're gonna come that down. But anywho, let's not talk about Jake's caloric intake. We will cut the podcast at that. Thank you, Alex, and thanks for the team for having us today.
No, thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Bourbon Lens. Make sure you're connected with Scott and I via social media on Instagram, X, and Facebook. We'd love to connect. And if you're more the professional type, follow us over on LinkedIn. If you want to know more about Bourbon Lens, make sure you're subscribed to our weekly newsletter, The Weekly Pour. For exclusive content and more, check out Patreon. Follow us there at Bourbon Lens. And last but not least, on your favorite podcast listening app, make sure you're subscribed because every Monday, Scott and I release a podcast, and we would love to have you here listening to the newest features and the newest whiskey news. And until next time, cheers.